So today we will look into what are the certain professional duties of an auditor. The members of the profession of accounting are also expected to observe ethics and code of conduct prescribed to them by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India lays down certain principles which have to be followed by the auditors while they are auditing. They are said to be the professional duties of the auditor. They have to observe certain ethics and code of conduct. So, say for example, if a person is appointed as an auditor, he should correspond with the previous auditor before accepting the assignment. So, in case a person is newly appointed as an auditor, he must get himself checked with the previous auditor in order to know what were the process of audit which was undertaken earlier. What are the liabilities of a company auditors? The first one is civil liabilities. So, under that, the first one, civil liability for negligence. A person who is appointed as an auditor, he should perform his duties by using reasonable skill and diligence. If auditor is found negligent in performing his duty, then he may be sued in the civil court for damages. So, any duty which is performed by the auditor, he must see to that he is using reasonable skill and diligence. If he is found negligent, if he is ignoring some of his duties, then he may be sued in the court of law for such damages. Negligence liability arises when auditor has been negligent in examining the books of accounts. So when is this negligent liability arising? When he is negligent or he is ignoring the examination of books of accounts. He is also liable if he fails to detect deflections or does not discover the errors which he should discover. He will also be held liable if he is failing to identify any errors, if he fails to exercise reasonable skill in performance of his duties. Liability in case of loss. Auditor will be liable to compensate the loss which is suffered by the client due to such negligence. Liability in case of no loss. The auditor will not be held liable if no loss is suffered by the client, even if auditor is proved to be negligent. So even in case the auditor is negligent, if there is no loss arised by such negligence, then he will not be held liable. The next one, legal case. Auditor did not care to see the provisions of carried articles, profits were inflated. This is in case of Shefford in the year 1887. He included in profits were inflated by including fictitious terms. Due to the auditor's negligence, dividend were paid out of capital, action was taken by the company, and auditor was held liable for damages. So in this case, in the lead estate building society versus Shepherd 1887 case. So in this case, what happened? Profits were inflated. That means profit was shown at a higher value by including the fictitious terms. That means the returns which were obtained from fictitious installers were shown, and due to auditor's negligence, dividends were paid out of capital, and action was taken by the company and auditor was held liable for such damages. Second one, civil liability for misfeasance. Misfeasance means the breach of duty, breach of trust involving the company in loss. So misfeasance is nothing but you are not following the duties, you are violating the duties which you need to perform. The company may proceed against the auditor by way of regular suit in case of misfeasance. So how can the company go about? They may proceed against the auditors by way of regular suit, that is, filing a regular case. Company can claim damages suffered. Proceedings can be taken against auditor by the directors. So in this case, what can be done? The auditor proceedings can be taken up against the auditor by the directors of the company, promoters, managing agents, and company is in liquidation. So in the case of liquidation, proceedings can be taken up against the auditor. Generally, misfeasance liability arises in case of winding up of a company. So this kind of a liability only arises at the time of winding up of the company. The next one, liability for misstatement in prospectus. Section 35 of the Act provides that an auditor shall be held liable to compensate for every person who subscribes for any shares or debentures of a company on the faith of prospectus containing an untrue statement made by him as an expert. So prospectus is something on which the public relies upon. So according to Section 35 of the Companies Act, if the auditor is misstating the prospectus, he is stating something wrong. Every person who is usually subscribing to the shares or debentures looks into the prospectus. Right? So if there is anything wrong stated in the prospectus, the auditor will be held liable to compensate for that every subscriber who has subscribed for that shares or debentures. The auditor shall be liable to compensate him for any loss or damages sustained by reason of any untrue statement included therein. So if any untrue statement is included in the prospectus, the auditor will be held liable to compensate for such loss or damage. The next one, criminal liabilities. During the course of audit, auditor may commit various offences and he becomes criminally liable. So when he's committing any offence, he will be held liable criminally. So what are those things where he will be held liable? The first one, if auditor's report does not comply with the requirements of law. The auditor report which is prepared by the auditor, it does not comply with the requirements of the law. In that case, he will be held liable criminally if the default was done knowingly and willingly by the auditor. So if he willfully does any default, if it is proved that auditor has falsified the accounts or made any report, statement, balance sheet or any document false, he will be held criminally liable. So if in case it is proved that the auditor has falsified, that means he has stated something wrong in the report, statement or balance sheet or any other document, for that purpose again he will be held criminally liable. Again, misstatement in prospectus. Under criminal liability, again, the first one, misstatement in prospectus, section 34. When an auditor makes any false statement in a prospectus, reports or documents, knowing it to be false, or omits any material facts, he shall be held liable for a minimum term of 6 months, extendable to 10 years, and with a fine. So, if in case the auditor is making any false statement in the prospectus, knowingly, that means willfully, he knows that it is false or he omits certain material facts which has to be present in the prospectus. In such case, he will be liable for a term of 6 months, which will extend to a period of 10 years and also with a fine. The next one, non-compliance by auditor, section 143 and section 145. If the auditor does not comply with section 143 and 145 regarding making his report or signing or authentication of any document, and makes willful neglect on his part. That means if he is not following the provisions laid down by section 143 and 145 regarding his report or signing or authentication of any document, and he willfully neglects his duties, then in that case he will be liable with imprisonment up to 1 year or with a fine of not less than 25,000 rupees, which can also be extendable up to rupees 5 lakhs. Next one, failure to assist investigation, section 217, subsection 6. So, where the central government appoints an inspector to investigate the affairs of the company. So, if in case the government is appointing an inspector to investigate or look into how the business is running, it is the duty of the auditor. So, what are the duties of the auditor? To preserve and produce to the inspector all the books and papers relating to the company. So, in this case, the auditor should make sure that he preserves and produces to the inspector all the books and papers relating to the company, all the documents of the company, to provide all assistance to the inspector in connection with the investigation. If he fails to do so, he shall be punishable with imprisonment up to 1 year and with fine not less than 25,000 rupees, which is extendable up to rupees 1 lakh. So he must ensure that he is assisting the inspector in connection with the investigation. If he is not assisting, then in that case, if he is failing to do so, in that case, he will be punishable with imprisonment up to 1 year and with fine not less than 25,000 rupees, which extends to rupees 1 lakh. The next one, failure to assist prosecution of guilty officers. Section 224. On the basis of inspector's report, if any person has been guilty of an offence for which he is criminally liable, all officers and auditors of the company shall assist central government in prosecution of such person. So if in case there are people who are held guilty of an offence or for which they are criminally liable, in that case, all the officers and auditors of the company should assist the central government in prosecution of such person. Failure to return books or papers, section 299. Any officer or auditor who is suspected to be in possession of property, books or papers of the company, the tribunal may order him to deliver it to the liquidator at such time and manner as prescribed. So any officer or auditor who is suspected to be in possession of property, that means who may be having the property, books or papers of the company, the tribunal will order the person to deliver it to the liquidator at such time and manner as prescribed. So liquidator is a person whose name role comes at the time of liquidation of the company. So during the time of liquidation, whoever is suspected to be having all these property, books or papers, they are required to, as per the tribunal's order, they are required to hand it over to the liquidator. Penalty for falsification of books. Section 336. Any officer, including auditor of a company which is wound up with an intention to defraud or deceive any person. So it may be any officer, including the auditor, during the time of winding up, if they are trying to defraud or cheat any person, in that case they will be liable with imprisonment for a term not less than 3 years, which is extendable to 5 years, and with fine not less than 1 lakh rupees, extendable to 3 lakh rupees. So maybe there will be imprisonment, which cannot be less than 3 years, also which can extend to 5 years, or a fine from rupees 1 lakh to rupees 3 lakhs. Prosecution of auditor. In course of the section 342, in course of winding up of company by a tribunal, if it appears that an officer, including auditor of the company, has been guilty of an offence, the tribunal may direct the liquidator to prosecute the offender or refer the matter to the registrar. So during the time of winding up of the company by the tribunal, so there are different modes of winding up. I hope you all know it. So when the company is wound up by the order of the tribunal, if it is found that the officer, including the auditor, is found guilty of an offence, in that case the tribunal will direct the liquidator to prosecute the offender or refer the matter to the registrar. It is the duty of every officer, including auditor, to give assistance in connection with prosecution. So with regards to any kind of prosecution, it becomes the duty of every officer, including the auditor, to assist. So if in case they are failing to do so, they will be liable to a fine not less than 25,000 rupees, extendable to rupees 1 lakh. Penalty for deliberate act of commission or omission. Section 448. So any officer, including auditor of the company, deliberately making a statement in any return report, balance sheet, prospectus, etc., if they are purposefully or willfully making any misstatement in such case, which is false or which contains omission of material facts, which shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term not less than 6 months, extendable to 10 years, and fine not less than amount involved in fraud, extendable to 3 times of such amount. So in such case, what is the punishment? He will be punishable with imprisonment for a term not less than 6 months, also which is extendable to 10 years, and with the fine which is not less than amount involved in fraud. That means the amount which is involved in the fraud, that will be the fine, or it will be 3 times of such amount. That is the amount, thrice the amount.